Hi Capricorn, welcome to your March 2025 AstroTarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. Check them out for all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. With that said, remember they're general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. Use your own discernment. Also, whenever I'm talking about astrology, I am talking whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. And if I ever forget to give you the dates or the degrees of the transits, you will find that all in the links in the description box below. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. Just to get a little swig of my Vasa. Alright, so for your first transit that I want to talk about is, Neptune has migrated already. Too early, Neptune, too early. So the first transit that I want to talk about is Venus, the lady of pleasure, luxury, communication, the pleasure, luxury. Venus also rules talents and skills, the things that help you shine, the things that you're good at. Venus also for you in your chart specifically rules your fifth house of pleasure, joy, romance and creativity, and your 10th house of your career. So going retrograde in your fourth house of home, family, property and real estate and your emotional outlook, this is going to see you reassess your relationships with your family members, with the people that you live with or the place that you live in, as in like literally the home or the dwelling, right? The area, like your locality is your third and your sixth house. But your actual home, this could also be where there are partnerships being built in the home or on the home sort of level when Venus is direct. But when she's retrograde, this could be you rethinking something on the domestic level or in that domestic environment. Old family dynamics or unresolved issues could resurface at this time, maybe offering an opportunity for healing and maybe even potentially some kind of closure when it comes to any and all, tricky family dynamics. It's a really good time for you to decide or work on sort of what changes need to happen within your home and your living situation. It really is asking you to search for the creative expression that allows you to enjoy your home more. So you could be painting at this time, decorating, enhancing the place, beautifying the place. My advice would be, whatever you're going to do in terms of like home renovations and stuff like that, do things that are temporary. Like if you paint, okay, yeah, ball ache, you've got to paint again because you don't like it. But it's like if you, if you build an extension and you hate it or it's just not right or it hasn't gone right, you can't undo that so easily or cheaply, right? So if you're going to make aesthetic changes under a Venus retrograde, the general rule of thumb is if you're doing aesthetic work in, whether that's on your body or your home, do things that are temporary or easy to fix. Now, since the Venus, as I said, rules for your 10th house in your career, you might find yourself reflecting on how your work-life balance impacts your personal life and vice versa. It's not really a great time for major home renovations. That's what I'm saying. All right. Now, for this, you've got the Six of Pentacles. So this suggests that if there's news or, information that you're waiting for on that home level, this suggests that it does go very well or in your favor. You've got this with the Ten of Cups. That's literally the home card, right? And it's one of the best cards in the whole deck. So that bodes really very nicely for you. And you've got the Lovers card. This to me feels like, and for some of you Capricorns, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is like a gamble that you've taken on in the home sector or with or around your family that absolutely pays off for you now. Now, this Venus retrograde, it literally starts on the 2nd of... it starts on the 2nd of March, right? And it will go through, I think it's only like a 4 or 5 week retrograde, but I love these cards for you. I absolutely love these cards for you, and it bodes really, really very well for what's going on in the home sector. Now, on the 12th of the month, we're going to have a Saturn Cazimi. So Saturn's going to come into a conjunction with the Sun for you in your third house, right? Third house, communications, learning, your local connections and environment. It's also your siblings. This transit is encouraging you to take a much more disciplined approach to how you share your thoughts and your ideas, potentially even thinking about how you express yourself. Like, are you expressing yourself clearly and sort of maybe even maturely enough? And this might really see you thinking about what you're saying, how you're saying it, and more importantly, to who. It could also see some kind of, because the third house is also a contract house as well. It could see you really thinking about what you're willing to tie yourself to for the long term or for the long haul. Now, Saturn is you, right? Saturn rules your first house of your physical self, your mind, your body, and your outlook. Saturn also rules your second house of money, finances, and resources. So, excuse me. There's the Capricorn, right? And the Sun for you rules the 8th house. So it might be where you're like, the conjunction could potentially, I mean, not even potentially, whenever a planet is reborn via the Sun, we get more energy, more vitality. So this is bringing a renewed dedication to skill acquisition, third house, commercial activities, third house. It might even be that an idea comes to the surface at this time that it really helps you shine at work. And it's also a really good time for you to think about planning or structuring your long-term projects that are related to writing, teaching, learning, and in a trine to Mars, which is now newly direct in your 7th house. This is a time where you're getting not only the emotional support from your partnerships, but you're also, and they're helping you navigate like the responsibilities, but there's also a feeling here of there's that inner fortitude to really go after and also to nurture the connections and commitments that you have that are actually nurturing you in return. Love this. Wow, look at that, right? Bam, you got the Sun card. I mean, what else is there to say, right? You've got this, wow, look, with the Universe card, right, which is the World card. And you've got the Star. Jeez, save some goodness for everybody else, Capricorn. I mean, look, with a triplet like this, I'm going to say straight away, I feel like this is going to be really good information. I think this is really good news that comes in through your work, potentially around some kind of promotion or elevation. I would not be surprised if you have some correspondence around a financial matter that makes you really happy. This could be new work, new responsibilities. It could be a pay rise. It could be a promotion. I mean, with all of these cards, literally like the sky is the limit. Another way that this could also show up is that you sort of have some really good news come back to you from an international matter, or potentially just that you really think sort of further afield than your current sort of options and possibilities, right? But the Sun card with the World, that's immense. Okay, so on the 18th of the month, the Sun is going to come into a conjunction with the North Node, right? This hasn't happened in 18 years. You'll only have one more of these before the nodes move into Leo and Aquarius, and then you won't have this again for another 18 years. So it is a pretty big deal transit, right? This is a chance for you to have a fated or really significant conversation or an encounter with somebody who provides you like a really valuable insight that could absolutely change your perspective on something. It could be an opportunity for you to teach or share your knowledge in some way that kind of really taps into your higher purpose. Remember, the North Node is a point of destiny. So something that you learn at or through your work, or maybe through or with a sibling, or even in your local area, might illuminate something that's been eluding you. So it might be like information that you've needed, but haven't been able to find could come to you almost serendipitously. It could also be a realization that prompts you to say, okay, now I'm ready to take all of this to a whole new level. And we've already seen that with the Saturn Cazimi, right? So pay attention to the connections that you make during this time when it comes to work, especially because they lead to long-term growth or open doors to new and really big opportunities. Again, whether this is through writing, speaking, networking, learning, or even teaching. It could be a time for you to embrace like your own abilities to inspire other people and connect other people. So with this, you've got the 10 of Wands, right? So the release of burdens. With the 6 of Swords, things are definitely on an upward trend here, Capricorn, right? And you've got this with the Strength card. Not only does this bode very well for you, I am going to say whatever it is that shows up around this time, it is going to take you out of your comfort zone. There's growth here in a really big way, but it comes in a way where it doesn't feel like, this is really hard or it's a burden. It's more like, wow, okay, this is amazing stuff that's happening, but I now have to really show up. And more importantly, I have to be present to enjoy it all. I'm so here for this for you. Like, it's, just immense. Again, there feels like a foreign element to this. So before you had the Star card with the World card, which usually represents like international flights, etc. Then you just had the Strength card with the 6 of Swords, which is overseas journeys. Even though this is highlighting your 3rd house, the axis that's now being activated for you is the 3rd house of your local environment and the 9th house of your international connections. So in some way, shape or form, there is going to be stuff that sort of unfolds in that way. And then finally, on the 20th, well, not finally, because there's one more to go this month. I'm doing 5. I did actually have 12 transits picked out because they were all sort of stuff that I really wanted to talk about. And I was like, Raf, man, it's too much. These are going to be over an hour long. Nobody's going to watch it. It's just, yeah. Anyway, on the 20th, Neptune is going to come into a conjunction with the Sun. So this is a Neptune Cazimi. Now, this is the last one of these that you will ever have. Neptune's been in the sign of Pisces now for about 14 to 15-ish years, right? That's the amount of time it spends in a single sign. It's now this month, very shortly after this transit, it's going to move into Aries. By the time the Sun comes back round to Pisces, Neptune will then will have already moved back into Aries full time. So this is the last one of these that we will have in your 3rd house. Milk it is what I'm saying. So in your 3rd house of communications, local connections, for the last, like I say, 14, 15 years. Now, this is going to enhance your intuition. Remember, the 3rd house is the mind. It can also bring like a dreamy or imaginative quality to your thoughts and your ideas. You might feel inspired at this time to write, to speak, to create in ways that really potentially touch the hearts of other people, and also see you coming up with some really out of the pocket ideas where people are like, wow, how did you get to that conclusion? And it's because you're channeling this stuff from spirit. This is the ability to use your words to charm the bees from the trees, right? Or charm the birds from the trees, as we say. This transit can be amazing for sales, right? 3rd house is commercial activities, sales, persuasion as well, persuading others, right? This could be really good for that. It's also a really good time to check your intentions because, as they say, absolute power can corrupt absolutely, right? So Neptune's energy can bring an incredible creativity. It might also blur the lines around communication, and so you want to find a way to keep it practical, but it's a really good time to explore spiritual practices that enhance your intuition and help you connect with your inner and outer voice. So if you've ever, this is the time, if there were ever a time for you to pray, Capricorn, this is the time. If there were ever a time for you to do things like chanting, mantra work, to go into really deep prayer, and I'm talking about using like your spoken or your written words, this is the time, okay? For this, you've got the Page of Wands. This means that there could be really powerful and aligned or ordained messages that find you, with the Six of Wands that bring you victory and success in some way, and the Page of Pentacles. But you will need to translate whatever these messages are into practical actions pretty quickly, right? It's not going to be like, oh, I've had this amazing idea and now I'm just going to sit on it and do the Capricornian thing and take years to build it. You don't have that level of time here. You'll have to act on this stuff pretty quickly. You've also got 2 pages here. 2 pages represents disquiet, which means that whatever you're planning to do or to put out into the world is going to disrupt things in some way, shape or form. Nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned, says the Aquarian. And then finally, on the 31st of the month, we've got Neptune moving into the sign of Aries. We've never seen this before. This is going to be a focus now more so on your home, family, and your emotional foundations. It's really trying to get you to bring a more spiritual and compassionate tone to your domestic life. You might feel drawn to create a sanctuary that feels nurturing and soul sort of engaging in some way, shape or form, right? It might just be a time where you feel like you just need more of that, right? Where you're creating more where you're just creating more of a sanctuary, let's say, that feels sort of more, not even aligned, but just more comfortable and more plush and lush, right? The concern with Neptune in the 4th is the potential for water problems in the home, so watch out for that. It's also an ideal time for you to get your plumbing checked and ensure everything is secure in order to avoid unexpected problems at a later date, okay? It's also a really good time to dream big about what home means to you, right? Whether it's creating a peaceful environment, exploring your ancestral roots, that's another way that this could show up for you. Neptune's influence is really asking you to approach these things through and with your intuition, but also with care. Neptune is the desire to meld with the divine, right? To hear the voice of God or to feel the touch of an angel on your shoulder. Be mindful though, because it can be an illusory tendency. So, just be mindful that you're seeing things and people the way that they actually are, as opposed to how you would like them to be. For this, you've got the 3 of Wands. Even still, it could be really, really good news with the 9 of Cups. This is matters of home really coming good for you, and the Emperor, and something being made official, and this will happen literally within the next 9 weeks that follow the 31st of March. So this is going to take you into April, May. So let's say by the time we start June, this will have already started to really unfold or to solidify in your life in some way. I'm very excited to see how this shows up for you. So before we get into your lunations, I do want to mention that my tarot course is now open for enrollment. You can jump on and get your space. There is a link in the description box below. You get 12 weekly classes, live classes via Zoom. You get 2 live Q&As. You get live client demo, live client practice, more PDFs than you can shake a stick at. And as if all of that wasn't enough, you also will get bonus videos as well, right? Now, for those of you that say, Raf, sounds amazing, I can't do that, Sunday's a day for this, or, I'm busy, or I'm half the world away, so the time zone doesn't work. No problem. I've got you covered. For the first time ever, I am offering you a Teach Yourself Tarot course. It's all of my course, all of the information that you need, but you study it in your own time, at your own pace, and in your own, in your own sort of schedule. So you can do live with me, or you can do, teach yourself at your own pace. It's all there for you. The Teach Yourself one, will run all year, so you can get on that whenever. The live one is obviously only when I'm putting those on because of time constraints for me and obviously the work that I'm doing. So on the 14th of the month, you have a full moon lunar eclipse in your 9th house, right? This is foreign travel, higher learning, your personal growth and your belief systems. Because it's a full moon lunar eclipse, this might be where you are now starting to either really see a belief system or structure for what it is, in a good way or a negative way. That will obviously depend on you and your situation. It could also be that you are starting to really find your groove when it comes to your own spiritual path and perspective. What changes that you can, make might be sort of highlighted to you. You are having this eclipse cycle now between the 3rd and the 9th. So there's an opportunity to balance your everyday learning with your bigger or higher philosophical insights. But there's also a chance for you to adapt. Like, this might even be where you start to say to yourself, you know what, I want to travel more, or I want to, let go of limiting beliefs or embrace new opportunities to grow and evolve. So I'm going to give these one more shuffle because I can't remember if I did them. All right, so for this, you've got the Gate 19 and Sensitivity. This card seems to be really stalking you guys recently. And part of the message of this card is that your sensitivity is your superpower. And this is really a time where you're going to start to, it makes sense as well with Neptune moving into the 4th, right? Because it's going to harmonize and spiritualize you in a lot of ways. And then you've got the new moon solar eclipse on the 29th in the sign of Aries. Ooh, excuse me. And this is a fresh start when it comes to your home. It's a fresh start when it comes to your living situation, and maybe even with your emotional outlook is shifting and changing in some way, which could be really, really potent for you. Finally, when it comes to your, because this is the last one in this axis, right? You're done now with this sort of connection. And for this, you've got the Gate 1 and Create. And your message here is to tap into your creativity and start really working on bringing your vision for the life that you really wish to live, or envision yourself living in your, in your best days, let's say, and bringing that into actuality to make it a reality for yourself. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic March. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.